Hi,
Yeah,
nice to see you.
good to see you.
How's the week going? Tuesday now.
Good. I was thinking of my small win today. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to tell Teresa about my small win. Um,
Definitely.
my daughter managed to sharpen every pair of scissors in our house.
Wow. I'm
I
mostly
was
in
like,
awe that you know where the scissors are. Seriously, that was a joke for a long time. I would be like, does anyone know where scissors are? That's impressive. So she figured out how to use that little knife block?
she used a grinder in
Wow.
the barn, and I said to her, it will be the biggest present if I can just use a pair of scissors that cuts through more than a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So that was a big win. That wasn't even a small
Wow.
win.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm so glad. That's really good. Yeah, I'm impressed that you can find all the scissors. That was
Hmm.
always a thing for me for a very long time. I'm like, where are the
Who
scissors?
has taken them? I have a secret stash, but they found those too.
Secret stash. Yeah. Same thing with cookies or chocolate, right? I
And how
love
are
it.
you? How's your week?
I'm really good. It feels like it's very busy. I've got a lot
Mm.
going on, and officially it's fall, right? It doesn't
Mhm.
feel like it's fall. I've got a sweater on, mostly I like the color, but it doesn't feel
Mhm.
like it to me. Does it feel like it over there?
It's beautiful. I said
Is
this
it?
weather I could have all year. It's toasty warm. We're still in our
Nice.
shorts and t-shirts. It's nice.
Oh,
It's
wow.
nice. Yeah.
It is nice. I'm hoping for a little bit more warmth because my tomatoes are all green in the garden and I
Mm.
just need a little bit more red. Yeah. So today has been writing, and what is it? It's so busy. Everything is so busy the last few days. And then I've got a few people that I'm going to be chatting with this afternoon. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays are really packed for coaching days for me. But you have a beautiful book that I have yet to put my eyes on. But let's chat about it. Tell me, what was your inspirational? Obviously, you're all Waldorf inspired because it looks like beautiful fabrics and handiwork and just creative things inspired by Waldorf. But I'd love to hear the story.
I actually wrote it for us.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, oh, we have so many fun projects, but then rushing around in the morning, I forget about things. And I think I just want something to grab off the shelf
Yeah.
and open it up and say, we're going to do this activity today. So I don't have to do so much planning.
Nice.
So originally I made it for us as a resource.
Yeah.
And then once it was a little polished, I was like, I wonder if this would be useful to other families. So that's how it started.
That's how it started. So tell me about the Waldorf inspiration. Is that like primarily the focus of your homeschool, or it has been?
We go in and out, very eclectic.
Yeah.
So we do a little bit of everything, but I love the hands-on and I love the nature and I love the creativity. So it just
Yeah.
fits in the Waldorf area because we love those things. I love those things. I'm sharing them. Mm.
And I love watching your Instagram account. It is so beautiful and curated, so creative, and it is everything that I always wanted to be on Instagram. And I just cannot harness my inner creative like that. But it truly is. It's beautiful.
Thank you. That's very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's all the kids' work though too. That was the other part is you gather books from the library and especially a lot of resource books because you want
Yeah.
ideas. And a lot of the stuff looked like it was made by adults. So I was like, I really want to make this book about the kids. So none of the pictures are done by adults. None of the work is done by
Really?
adults. It's all the
Wow.
kids stuff is done by kids. So that was my other motivation. I was like, I want to see work that's actually done by the kids.
That's impressive work by the kids.
All theirs.
Wow. Do you have
Yeah.
certain kids that are more creative than others?
Yes. And certain kids that are really drawn to it and certain kids that don't like it, they'll do it. So I've come to a point now where it's optional. So if you want to
Yeah.
do this, is what we're doing. And if you don't, you can play outside or do something else. Yeah. But I definitely have some that are always nudging me, Mom, let's sit down with a pencil.
That
Let's
right.
draw. Yeah.
They like drawing. Yeah, that was more my thing. I actually remember
Mm,
taking this course at a community college to learn how to draw, and I thought that'd be like a really relaxing way to do a Wednesday evening. And
mm.
then I realized it was blowing my mind to try to understand perspective and know
Perspective.
how to look at things in the way that the sun is casting shadows. And it felt like math to me. But it was very interesting. I did learn that you don't have to be a natural creative in order to be creative. You can learn these things.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up about math because I think people look at art as frivolous,
Yeah.
but it includes so many things, thinking outside the box and math, and there's so many other aspects I think art's so important. I
Yeah.
really push for it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I always loved fine arts. And I was always, in fact, I have the books right over there. They're impressionist based books. That's my favorite era. I think you call it an era of art. But I love going to the art gallery and I love pulling out pastels. And I never liked oils, they were so messy and such trouble.
Mm,
But I
mm,
really loved those kinds of things. I love the Waldorf inspired, what was it like? Crayons, like waxy crayons,
yeah.
and their products are absolutely beautiful. Or the
Yeah.
fabrics that one of the moms locally who became a homeschool mom, she had her kiddo at the Waldorf school. And sometimes I just thought I wanted to homeschool, but that Waldorf school was so pretty and everything they were doing was so pretty. It was inspiring just to be around it and to learn
Yeah.
what they were doing.
Very tactile, right? So if you have
Yeah.
sensory kids that just like to touch and play, and it's very tactile, it's nice.
So where did you first learn about Waldorf?
I think in studying for homeschool,
Yeah.
because you have to study for homeschool.
Yeah. So what did you read? What was your reference book?
Oh gosh, I started with some like heavy stuff. So I started with the Rudolf Steiner. I started with the roots. And then I got into the art stuff. So anybody that did any, oh, I forget her name. I have a few of her books. She's from Maine. She's a homeschool mom of five. And she's
Mm.
written one called Creative Family. Her first name is Amanda.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she has lots of Waldorfy style creative
Yeah.
books. So I used to gather those up. And that just all made sense to me. It was nice and natural, lots of sensory. The process was more important than the product, which I think a lot
Mm,
of times, like a lot of craft books, the kids get frustrated because they want it
yeah.
to look the way that the picture looks.
Right.
But this is more the process is the important bit. That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's hard for a perfectionist because I remember going through my Pinterest when I was homeschooling all the kids, and I would steal 15 minutes away after lunch. We'd clean up, and I would go to my white chair in the corner of my bedroom and pull out the cookies underneath my chair, and then take a cookie, grab the iPad when it existed, because I didn't homeschool with screens forever, but I pulled it out and I would tap tap, and once a week I would do one of these crafts with the kids. It never looked what never looked like what I tried. I'm like, why doesn't it? It should, but I just thought I wasn't that good at it. Is that the thing?
No,
Or
not at all.
no?
I think it's so important to just play. And it's a bit of a problem if you have multiple kids, multiple
Yeah.
ages, because then they start looking at the kid next to them and they're like, I'm not doing this because it's not going to turn out the way hers did.
Oh, that's a
Um,
good point. Yeah.
yeah. So it's nice to separate them a little bit or to cater activities. So if one day this child's doing watercolor, the other child should be doing an oil, or the other child, so that they can't compare. There's nothing going on to compare about.
Sarah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that's the one thing I would not buy my grandkids one day is oils. Like that is next level, trying to clean that out of anything.
They are not in my book.
Yes. And glitter. This
No, that's not
sometimes
there
there's stuff like
either.
no glitter. If you love yourself, you should not own glitter. Yeah, I mean, there's probably still glitter in one part of my kitchen cabinet because we played near there, and just no, just say no. But I think that's actually a really good point when you said oils for one kid and just essentially do something different for each of them so they're not comparing. It's very interesting to me that the younger kids, they tend to have more of that potential for comparing because the older ones, they're just older. And so they've played with things more. But now I can see things leveling out. I was just
Yes.
sharing this on the Instagram Live that I've been watching my two, one that's in college, one that's just finishing his last year in school, in high school. And he's big into AP physics and all these advanced math and sciences class that I definitely did not do and did not want to do. And I'm shocked that I have children that do. And
Okay.
they are chatting back and forth with each other about all these different conversation points, like they want to, that they actually want to have these
Yeah.
conversations.
Interesting. Yeah.
It is. And my older daughter, who's six, or not, one of my older daughters, who's 6 years older than him, says, Mom, he's really good at that. And he's really good at teaching it. And I'm like, yeah, it's me.
Wow.
Barely passed the grade 10 physics.
And that's your baby, right? And that's
That's
your
my
big,
baby.
yeah,
Yeah, my
yeah,
6'4" baby.
yeah.
All I know is that initial, because I remember the two youngest always feeling like they were not as good as other things. And this is not the case anymore. And he's about to be 17, she's 22. That's a pretty big gap. And there were a lot of things that she and her older sister were really good at, and the younger two just looked like they were okay. And that gap did close, actually. Yeah.
Yes. And that's a nice thing for the kids to think about too, because I think my younger kids do a lot of comparing and they feel that I'm just not going to bother.
Yeah.
And so that's not a good feeling either, right?
No. And
Yeah.
I think this is one of those discussion points that sometimes families assume that their kids won't have an issue with if they homeschool. And actually, kids find a way to compare. They definitely do. And sometimes they also, another discussion point is we don't want our kids to be exposed to certain things. Kids still are exposed to some things for so many possible reasons. And bullying still happens. Sometimes it's sibling to sibling.
That is my favorite quote from your book, actually,
Oh,
is you birthed the bully.
I'm not
I'm
going to say
like,
which one I was thinking about, though.
I totally birthed the bully.
I know it is very surprising, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, no, that's so true. So tell me about putting this book together, though, because I know from experience, putting something together like a book and then trying to market it and share it with other people and have no official training in this thing. That is a next level creative venture.
I used to try children's picture books and I
Yeah.
wanted to be published the traditional way. And I got so tired of being rejected.
Mm,
And in modern day, like these days, there's certain criteria. If you don't have a number of followers, if you
yeah.
don't fit certain criteria, they're really not looking at you at all. So that got really discouraging. And as a
Mm,
homeschool mom who's picking out so many books from the library and I'm reading so many
yeah.
books, I'm thinking, this isn't that quality. How did this
Mm,
get through? So I got really frustrated. I thought, there's so many musicians, artists, there's so many human beings out there who will never be noticed but are incredibly talented.
right. Yeah.
And so I thought I'm going to go the non-traditional way because I
Yeah.
want this on the shelves.
I love that. I
Yeah.
really love that.
Yeah.
I'm all about just find your thing and do your thing. And I too had learned, I mean, I've done many mentorships with certain authors, and I learned over the course of time that even if you get traditionally published, they are not going to put you out into public. You need to do the work of it anyways. And it'll take you longer to do it. It might be 2 or 3 years, but the risk that they take is they're essentially taking a risk. And at the time when I was first told about it, it's 20 years ago now, but it was like a $50,000 purchase almost from the publishing house to actually invest in that book that you think this is my baby, like this is the best thing ever. And it is, but they're like, is this worth the financial risk? And so I heard from Pat Flynn at the time, he was Simple Passive Income. He said, you can create whatever you want to and put it out into public. You can do that. And the support that you get in a publishing house is next to nothing, anyways. So then it might be, but it isn't significant. And so you're still doing the work of it. So you could learn how to do it. And I thought, that would be perfect. I've been already writing. And then I decided to take what is probably at the time $400 or $500 or 400 or 500 blog posts and then assess them and determine what I really wrote about the most. And funny enough, there really were other conversation points like self-directed education and world traveling or homeschool traveling, which I funny enough, don't actually talk about it a lot. But that and this self-care or wellness angle that I believed in my soul was something that we need to talk about more with women. And then I said, let's gather up all my thoughts based on what I've already written, and then I'll just write my own book. But even that, it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. The font is definitely not my choice. The cover wasn't my choice. But the message somehow, even though it's not as complete as a lot of my coaching courses are, they're very detailed now and have a lot of meat to them. It's not detailed like that. It still was a way to connect me with other people. And more importantly, it resonated with other people, just like you said with your book, that you wrote it for yourself, which was what I really did. And then because you were being honest and it was very real, then other people really resonated.
And I definitely resonated because I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of dog ears. There's a lot of margin. I've really messed up your book.
I love it. Yeah, me too. Many of them actually that have done that. And I've
Yeah.
actually, it's funny because I started writing these coaching courses and they are all the topics in that book, but much more detailed and have more meat to it. But yeah, tell me about yours though. Like, how did you go about doing it? Because that is a big thing. I know it is.
But first, I have a question for you because you self-published. Is that true?
Yes, but it was with a publisher who is also a homeschool mom and a publisher.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So she was able to
It's not a
print your
big
book.
publishing house. I'll just say that. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
Canadian publisher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we spoke, I spent a year talking to salespeople from different Canadian publishing companies.
Yeah.
And I was getting the same idea, but I went with the people that I felt the most comfortable. And there were definitely some roadblocks, and I was like, oh, this isn't going the way I wanted. But in the end, I think it's a product that is mine for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
Nobody took over at any point and changed anything. They were very supportive of where I wanted certain photo placement. And so I feel like it wasn't altered at all. So
Lovely.
it's
Yeah.
mine. Yeah.
Definite advantage. So how long did it take? But I assume that the writing and the ideas took a lot longer, but from actually putting it together to print.
That was probably about a year.
Yeah.
Once it was ready to go, and then I had to work through with, there was a lot of tech stuff I had to learn to upload it and get it ready. I paid for 2 rounds of edits, so I wanted that done properly. And the hard part for me is definitely not the creative part. That's a cinch for me. The hard
Yeah.
part is the marketing and the business.
Yeah. No, I know. That's
That is where I'm working my butt off.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I wouldn't call myself a creative, even though I'm a writer. So I think creatively, but not like your kind of creative. But I like doing that kind of writing, or I like to actually coach one-on-one. And so me putting myself out on Instagram is not natural for me at all and thinking in hooks and getting people's attention like in 10, 20, 30 seconds. Part of me is, oh, do I have to? And I don't have to, but I do have my closest neighbors, and they are bald eagles in the middle of my Canadian mountain wilderness. And though we do have plenty of homeschool moms in the local area, I am able to connect with people all over the world because of those other ways of approaching creativity. And I admire what people can do on certain social programs or social apps, but that's not my go-to. And I hear that your go-to is really doing the detailed work, not the marketing work.
No, and maybe it's the same for you where we've talked about flow before, where you're
Hmm.
doing something and you lose track of time. When I'm working on writing or even lesson planning, to be honest,
Yeah.
I can totally lose track of time because I'm
Yeah, me
very
too.
involved in how are they going to receive this? And is this going to be fun for me too? And how can we expand this? And finding the photographs that work for it. I'm very much in the flow
Yeah,
when it comes to
me
that.
too.
So if I
Yeah.
time block myself and sit myself in an office, I could be there for way too long. Actually,
Probably
writing was
fine.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. But do you set a specific time in a week to do that kind of creative work still? I can imagine this being a series.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
definitely. The next one is on its way. It's math and
Oh,
science projects, all hands on. Like it's not a curriculum, but it's meant to be like supplementary. So
yeah.
these are games and these are hands-on activities. This isn't any textbook sort of work.
We're
Um,
talking about it. Can you just show me a photo or
yeah,
a
yeah.
picture of your book?
Here we go here. Oh, there
So
it is.
pretty. Yeah.
Go this way
And so
there.
one of your girls, oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
And the
Love to see.
inside is it's laid out into three parts. Let me find a nice picture. So the first part is art activities, the second is nature activities, and the third is language.
Beautiful.
So there's the title page, and then on this side, there's a multitude of activities. And I on purpose I did it this way too, because when I get an activity book out of the library, it's usually aimed for a specific age group. So I made sure that every theme, there's activities for the little guys and there's activities for the teenagers, and the
Right.
adults can certainly be involved as well. So I wanted a resource that was definitely worth its dollar, that you were buying this for your family and everybody could use it.
So how many different activities are in each book? Or around how many?
This book is 150,
Wow.
and the second book I've now counted 250, so I've upped it by 100. So
Wow.
that's great. Yeah.
So where do you find the resources? Waldorf
Um,
inspired resources.
yeah, it's basically just stuff that we've come up with. So lots of the stuff, for example, the plasticine is the most popular, this one. See
Yes.
that?
Oh yeah, very pretty.
That's super popular, and the little kids can do it, and the big kids can do it. So we've just modified. So instead of doing, do you know Barbara Reed? Have you ever seen her work?
No.
She's Canadian and she does picture books, but every page is done in plasticine.
Oh, I bet
Um,
I have, and I just don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So we just modified it. So we just gave a bunch of plasticine ideas. So
Right.
I might find an idea on Pinterest, but then turn it into my own, and then I put them all together.
So where do you find the time to do this in your day? Or is this something you do once a week? Because I know people are going to ask, how do you do it? Where do you put it?
So when I was actually really involved in writing and I had deadlines and I had set goals for myself, I would use Sunday afternoons and just
Yeah.
hide away. I knew I
Yeah.
had the time, the kids were outside, dad was home. But on a regular basis, I probably use Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays is my kind of day where the family's quiet and we're here. But I do, when I need a break from anything, I'm definitely on Pinterest.
Yeah. I
I
love that.
spend a lot of time there thinking, okay, this is therapeutic.
Yeah, I actually think
Yeah.
it is, especially
Mhm.
if you don't have like a home sense around you. For me,
Mhm.
I don't actually like shopping at all,
No,
like ever. I just don't.
no, we don't go shopping.
Yeah, but I like being like I did at least in my early years, taking a drink, like a coffee or something, and walking through HomeSense or Winners or whatever was then, and just looking at things. And I think Pinterest is like that. That was me too, Pinterest. But I every time I go to do something, I'm just not good at it.
Oh, but you
Yeah.
got different strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
But I
just,
admire it and I would look at it. And even still, I look at your account and I think that is really beautiful. Like, I would want those quotes, your quotes, just popping up, reminding me of whatever comes up for you. I'm assuming that, is it beforehand? Like you've prepped it beforehand or you come up with it in that day?
no, they're old quotes from the kids. I have books of their
Oh,
quotes. So I just keep adding to it. And I have a 4-year-old that supplies endless amounts at this
yeah, I
point.
love that.
I'm like, you need to give me something for today.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you will never regret that. I
No,
actually
that's
had a
good.
full, what do you call it, like a moment where one of my older girls had looked at her journals that I'd written forever. I'd always keep these like very simple scroll notebooks on the kitchen island. And once a day I would write something about what happened or something funny that they said and full circle moment. And I saw her reading it and I was like, wow, it finally happened. It was so wild. And it was, yeah, it's really quite memorable, the things they say. You think you're going to remember it forever because it's the cutest thing ever, but you don't because they grow up and there's so many of them. So, what a beautiful way to curate that.
My mother's still repeating the same 4 things she remembers me saying. The same
Oh,
4 things. She never wrote stuff down, so she only has four.
oh.
That's all
And
she can remember.
you're the oldest, right?
I'm the oldest of
You're
two.
the
Yeah.
oldest. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's a funny thing that you are more likely to remember the oldest than you are to remember the middle or the youngest.
for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. You've got your
Yeah,
4-year-old, assuming she actually.
he is a boy. Yeah.
Why did I
I've
get that?
got the two older girls and then two younger boys.
Okay. So I'm imagining you are always going to remember then everything that he says because it's all on
It's
Instagram.
all there. It's all there. And he also provides things I'm like, I probably shouldn't put that in print. That's not
Yeah.
appropriate.
Oh, yeah. My
Funny,
kids
but
are
it's
old
not
enough, they tell
appropriate.
me. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So your next, oh, first of all, where do we find your book? I want to hear about that.
It's available on Amazon.
Yeah.
If you want a hardcover, I would direct you to use Indigo.
Ah,
Amazon's prices fluctuate
yes.
mysteriously.
Yes. Anything from
Indigos do not.
20 to $600 depending on the
Yes.
day. Yeah, I relate. Yeah. And yeah, so your next one is coming out at what time and what is it called?
I'm hoping next year. I kept this series to the name of our farm, actually. So our
Okay.
farm is Windy Acres.
I
So
love
the
it.
series is Windy Acres Workshop. And then there's a subtitle for each edition. So this one is the Art, Nature, and Literature edition. And the next one will be the Math and Science. And there's a third, and it will be History and Geography.
I love it. I love it.
So
All of it
it's
is
fun.
so beautiful and creative. And I know what it's like to live the creative homeschool mom life, to just feel energized doing your own cool thing apart from the kids, even though like it's part of the kids and with the kids and for the kids, but it's also your creative thing, right?
I'm very lucky, and it's nice to
Mhm.
watch them evolve too, their artwork.
Mhm.
So they go through their pieces from long ago, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this, and now I'm doing this." I'm like, "Look at you."
So the last post that I saw, you were raising butterflies. Was that recently? The monarchs?
Yeah, yeah,
Gorgeous.
yeah. We're very lucky. You too, right? Can you find?
We've done that for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's nice.
many
That's nice.
times. Yeah, it really is. That and we were raising the other day. I
Oh,
went to put my hand into a jar of peanuts that were high on the counter. And I went in and I went, oh, look, they're caramelized. How odd. And then I realized they're moving. Oh my goodness, there's maggots.
oh
So my
no.
son grabbed each one of them because he's not afraid, and he puts it back into the jar and brings it to the chickens. No big deal. So yeah, that was an unintentional science
Oh
experiment.
no, that's a science experiment. That's totally a science. My sons would be right on that. They wouldn't have fed them to the chickens. They would have been like, "Can we keep
Oh no, definitely not in the house, in my opinion. But apparently I was growing them anyways in the pantry.
them?"
It was such a pleasure to have you here, Sarah. And yeah, I definitely want you to send me your links, and I'm going to put it in the YouTube description here so that if anyone is watching, you can just check out below and check out Goodreads as well, because a bunch of the women in the collective have got your book and share some
Oh,
really lovely things about your book.
yes, thank
So
you.
yeah, incorporate some crafting and creative type things in your homeschool year this year. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon. Take care.